Let's be honest for a moment. You've always known you operate on a different frequency, that depth of emotion others call too much. That unnerving ability to see straight through the masks people wear. That resolute refusal to settle for shallow conversations and superficial answers, even when it would make your life so much easier. For years, you've likely worn these traits as a badge of honor, a quiet, secret source of pride that confirms you're not just another face in the crowd. They are the evidence that you are different, substantial. But what if I told you that the very trait you're most proud of is a double-edged sword? That on one side it grants you this incredible, rare insight, but on the other, it's been silently constructing the walls of a prison around you. A prison that cuts you off from the one thing the ancient Stoics, from Seneca to Marcus Aurelius, valued above all else: true inner peace, real, unshakable strength. In this video, we are going to dissect the 10 signs of this rare personality. But we're not just going to list them. For each one, we will first honor the bright side, the part you're proud of. And then we will expose the hidden trap, the subtle form of self-sabotage that 99% of people with this gift fall into without ever realizing it. So stick with me to the very end, because I'm going to reveal the one root characteristic, the trait you likely hold most dear, that fuels all of this silent destruction. And more importantly, I will share the Stoic Key to finally transforming that double-edged sword into an unbreakable shield. Let's begin. So, let's begin with the first and perhaps most alluring trap. It's a prison built from the most beautiful materials, empathy and understanding. This trap is founded on 2 core pillars of your rare personality. Sign number 1, your profound emotional depth. And sign number 4, your almost psychic intuitive awareness. Let's talk about the bright side first, the part you're rightfully proud of. You don't just listen to people, you perceive them. When you're in a conversation, you're not just hearing the words. You're feeling the unspoken tension in the room. You're noticing the slight hesitation before an answer, the flicker of pain in someone's eyes when they say, "I'm fine." You hear the symphony of what is not being said. This is your superpower. It allows you to forge connections that are impossibly deep, to offer a level of understanding that most people will never experience in their entire lives. You are the safe harbor, the human diary, the one friend people come to when they need to feel truly, completely seen. And a part of you thrives on this. Why wouldn't it? In a world drowning in noise and superficiality, you are an anchor of authentic human connection. You should be proud of that. But here is where the gift begins to turn on its master. Here is where the trap is sprung. The dark side is this: you become what I call an emotional sponge. Your pride in your ability to feel what others feel slowly erodes the boundary between their suffering and your own. You start absorbing it. You take on their anxiety, their grief, their anger, as if it were your own. You leave a conversation with a friend feeling heavier, more drained, carrying a weight that wasn't yours to begin with. Ask yourself honestly, how many times have you found yourself mentally and emotionally exhausted at the end of the day? Not from your own problems, but from the collected weight of everyone else's. This is where your greatest pride becomes your secret destroyer. The Stoics taught that the primary duty of a wise person is to protect their inner citadel, the fortress of their mind and soul. But an emotional sponge has no walls. Your citadel is constantly being flooded by foreign armies, and you've mistaken this invasion for a noble act. Your ego has learned to equate your value with your capacity to carry the world's pain. So you carry more and more until you begin to break under the load. This is the critical mistake. You have confused empathy with self-annihilation. True Stoic empathy, what they called sympathia, is the ability to understand and connect with another's experience from a place of strength and reason. It's like being a lighthouse on a rocky shore. You can cast your light into the storm, guide the ships, witness the raging waves, but you do not leave your foundation and plunge into the sea yourself. You, however, have been diving in head first, again and again, proud of your ability to swim in the storm, not realizing that you are slowly, silently drowning. This is the first trap, and it's often tied directly to the next, the trap of the intellect. If the first prison is built with the raw material of emotion, the second is forged from pure, cold intellect. It's a trap that preys not on your heart, but on your mind. This one is built on two other cornerstones of your personality. Sign number 2, your relentless need to question everything. And sign number 5, your unwavering inner moral compass. Let's start with the bright side, the part that makes you a pillar of integrity in a world that often seems to have none. You are the person who can't just go with the flow. You have to know why the flow is going in that direction in the first place. You see the inconsistencies, the logical fallacies, the unexamined assumptions that everyone else builds their lives on. It's like you're seeing the code behind the simulation and you can't unsee it. And this pairs with your inner moral compass. It's your true north. When everyone else is swayed by popular opinion or social pressure, you have a fixed point inside you that tells you what is right. It's what gives you the strength to stand alone, to be the lone voice in a meeting, to walk away from something that feels fundamentally wrong, even if you can't perfectly articulate why. You are proud of this. You are proud that you think for yourself, that you are a seeker of truth, not a follower of trends. In a society that often rewards conformity, your intellectual independence feels like a heroic act of rebellion. But here is the insidious twist. Here is where the trap of the intellect snaps shut. The dark side is this. You fall into the trap of the intellectual's arrogance. Your pride in your clarity of thought slowly morphs into a quiet contempt for those who lack it. You find yourself at a family dinner or a social gathering, listening to conversations you deem simple or illogical, and you feel a growing sense of detachment, of superiority. You might not say anything, but inside you're building an ivory tower, looking down on the world below. This is the subtle poison. You start to believe that being right is more important than being connected. You win the argument, but you lose the relationship. You successfully deconstruct someone's flawed belief, but in the process, you make them feel small and you push them away. Your truth becomes a weapon that you use to create distance, to protect yourself from the messy, illogical, and often beautiful chaos of genuine human interaction. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote constantly in his private journal meditations about his duty to deal with people he found foolish, dishonest, and irritating. He didn't have the luxury of retreating into an ivory tower. He had to lead them. He understood that a sage's wisdom is useless if it only serves to isolate them. The Stoic goal is to participate in the human community, the cosmopolis, not to judge it from afar. Your pride in being a truth seeker is secretly destroying your capacity for love, patience, and community. It's building walls, not bridges. You are correct, and you are alone. So the question you must ask yourself is this. Are you using your clarity to illuminate the path for others, or are you using it as a spotlight to highlight their flaws while you stand safely in the dark? This intellectual isolation often leads directly to the next trap, a trap forged in the fires of past pain. If the first trap is emotional and the second is intellectual, this third one is forged in the fires of adversity. It is a prison built not from bricks, but from scars. This trap arises from two of your most hard-won traits. Sign number 3, your fierce, almost defiant independence. And sign number 8, your alchemical ability to turn pain into wisdom. Let's honor the bright side, because this is your masterpiece of survival. You have faced storms that would have broken others. Betrayal, loss, failure. You've looked into the abyss, and you didn't just survive it. You learned from it. You are a testament to human resilience. You are living proof that what doesn't kill you can indeed make you stronger. You're like a piece of kintsugi pottery, the Japanese art of mending broken ceramics with gold lacquer. You don't hide your cracks. You've made them a part of your beauty. You are proud of the fact that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that you don't need anyone, that you can take a hit and get back up, wiser than before. This strength, this independence, is the bedrock of who you believe you are. But what happens when the war is over and you refuse to take off the armor? This is where the trap reveals itself. It's the trap of the survivor's identity. The dark side is that your ego becomes attached to the story of your struggle. You are the survivor. You are the one who overcame. This identity is so powerful, so central to your sense of self, that on a subconscious level, you start to believe you need the struggle to exist. So you cling to your old wounds. You replay past injustices in your mind, not to learn from them anymore, but to remind yourself of who you are. You might even find yourself subtly drawn to difficult situations or unavailable people, because your psyche only knows how to operate in survivor mode. Ask yourself this profound and terrifying question. Who would you be without your story of struggle? If you took away the narrative of everything you've overcome, what would be left? The silence that follows that question is where the fear lies. The fear that without your wounds you might not be special. You might not be interesting. You might just be okay. The Stoic philosopher Seneca famously said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." For the person trapped in the survivor's identity, this is a life motto. You are no longer suffering from the actual event, but from the endless echo of it in your mind. The armor that once protected you from the arrows of the world is now preventing you from feeling the warmth of the sun. It's heavy, it's isolating, and it is secretly destroying your ability to live a life of peace and joy in the present moment. Your greatest pride, your resilience, has become the very thing that keeps you tethered to the past. The challenge now is not to endure more pain, but to have the courage to put down your shield, take off the armor, and learn to walk in the world undefended. This leads us to the next trap, one that feels less like a prison and more like a holy mission. Our next trap is perhaps the most noble of them all. It's not a prison of pain or intellect, but a beautiful, gilded cage of service. This trap is built around a single, powerful sign of your rare personality. Sign number 9, your ability to offer profound, healing presence in a distracted world. Let's acknowledge the incredible gift this is. In a society where everyone is waiting for their turn to speak, you are one of the few who truly knows how to listen. You create a space where people can finally take off their social masks and just be. In your presence, people feel seen, heard, and validated in a way that is deeply restorative. You are the emotional anchor, the unofficial therapist, the safe harbor in the storm. You are proud, and rightly so, that you can be this sanctuary for others. It feels meaningful. It feels like a calling. But the noblest intentions can pave the most dangerous roads. And this is the trap of the savior complex. The dark side is this. You become the lighthouse keeper who forgets that he too needs light. You become so identified with your role as the strong one, the helper, the giver, that you completely forget how to receive. You pour all of your energy, all of your presence, all of your emotional life force into others until your own well runs dry. And your ego loves this. It feels heroic to be the one who never needs anything. But this isn't strength. It's a form of profound neglect. This is the hidden destruction. You are sacrificing your own well-being on the altar of someone else's comfort. You become a lifeline for others, but you yourself are adrift. You become so skilled at holding space for everyone else that you forget to take up space for yourself. The Stoics believed in helping others as a civic duty, but never at the cost of your own rational mind and inner peace. Your first responsibility is to the health of your own soul. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So ask yourself, when was the last time you allowed yourself to be the one who was truly listened to? When was the last time you asked for help without feeling like a failure? Because this constant giving, this noble self-erasure, is directly fueled by the final and most powerful trap of them all, the trap of destiny itself. And now we arrive at the final and most magnificent prison of all. It is a cage built not of iron or stone, but of starlight and destiny. It is the trap reserved for those who dare to look beyond the mundane and ask, what is this all for? This trap is woven from the three highest threads of your rare personality. Sign number 6, your deep craving for meaning over social acceptance. Sign number 7, your painful but necessary evolution beyond the people and places you've outgrown. And finally, sign number 10, that persistent, undeniable sense that you have a greater purpose. The bright side of this is nothing short of breathtaking. You are one of the few who refuses to live an unexamined life. You can't. Your very soul rebels against it. You've walked away from comfortable relationships and familiar environments because they felt like a betrayal of your potential. You have chosen the lonely path of growth over the crowded path of conformity. You feel a calling. It might be a whisper or a roar, but it's there. A sense that you are here to contribute something, to build something, to leave the world a little more conscious than you found it. You are proud of this. You see yourself as part of a larger story, a soldier in the quiet war for truth and meaning. This sense of purpose is the fuel that gets you through the darkest nights. But even the grandest visions can cast the darkest shadows. And this is the ultimate trap, the one that Carl Jung warned about most forcefully. It is the trap of ego inflation. Here is the devastating dark side. Your pride in your special purpose begins to separate you from the very humanity you are meant to serve. You start to see your life as a grand, epic movie, and everyone else's life as a boring sitcom. You look at people absorbed in their ordinary lives, raising families, working their 9-to-5 jobs, finding joy in simple pleasures, and you feel a sense of pity, of superiority. You think, they just don't get it. They don't see the big picture like I do. This is the most dangerous form of self-destruction because it masquerades as spiritual wisdom. The Stoics had a term for this, hybris. It is the arrogance of mortals who believe they are like gods. It is the fatal pride that comes just before the fall. You become so focused on your higher calling that you lose your compassion for the so-called lower struggles of everyday life. You lose your humility. You forget that the most profound spiritual work is often done not on a mountaintop, but in the trenches of ordinary existence. In being a patient parent, a reliable friend, an honest employee. Your sense of purpose, which began as a noble quest for meaning, has been hijacked by your ego. It has become a tool to make you feel separate, elevated, and ultimately alone in your self-made cosmos. It is destroying your ability to connect with the simple, sacred dignity of every single human being. So you see the pattern. All these incredible traits, your empathy, your intellect, your resilience, your purpose, all of them, when poisoned by pride, become instruments of your own undoing. Which brings us to the final critical question. What is the one root trait that connects all of these traps? What is the single thing you're proudest of that is the true source of all this silent destruction? It's time to reveal the answer. So, after our journey through these magnificent prisons of the self, we arrive at the final question. What is it? What is the one single trait you're proudest of that has been the source of all this silent destruction? Is it your empathy? No. Is it your intellect? No. Is it your resilience, your sense of purpose? No. Those are just the symptoms. The true source, the root of the poison, is your ego's deep, powerful attachment to the idea of being special. That's it. It's the pride itself. That pride is the invisible poison that seeps into every one of your gifts and corrupts it from the inside out. It is the pride in being special that turns empathy into self-annihilation. It is the pride in being special that turns intellect into arrogant isolation. It is the pride in being special that turns resilience into a martyr's identity and a noble purpose into a God complex. You haven't been destroyed by your gifts. You have been imprisoned by your identity as the gifted one. You've been so focused on the trophy that you didn't notice it was chained to your ankle. So how do we break free? We don't do it by trying to get rid of these rare traits. That would be like a master craftsman throwing away his finest tools. No, we do it the Stoic way. We change our relationship to them. Here is the three-step key to your liberation. First, the Stoic practice of disidentification. You have a body, but you are not your body. In the same way, you have a powerful intuition, but you are not your intuition. You have a sharp intellect, but you are not your intellect. See these traits as possessions, not as your core self. Separate the I from the it. This creates the crucial space needed for reason to step in. Second, shift your focus from rarity to virtue. Rarity is an accident of circumstance. Virtue is a choice of character. The Stoics didn't care if you were special, they cared if you were good. They cared about the four cardinal virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. So the question is no longer, how can I prove I'm different? The question becomes, how can I use my empathy justly? How can I apply my intellect wisely? How can I wield my resilience with courage and temperance? Your value is not in what you are, but in what you do with what you are. And third, practice what the Stoics called preferred indifference. Think of your rare traits as a master-crafted hammer. It's an incredible tool. It's better than most hammers. You would certainly prefer to have it. But you must remember that you are the carpenter, not the hammer. The tool doesn't define your worth. Your worth lies in how you choose to use it. To build a shelter for yourself and others, or to smash things apart. These traits are your tools. Use them with skill and purpose, but never, ever let them define you. The great paradox is this. The moment you let go of the need to be special, you begin to access your true, unshakable strength. Your gifts will no longer be your masters. They will become your servants. So I leave you with this to reflect on. Which of your traits do you hold most dear? And after this journey, can you see the subtle, prideful ways your ego has turned that gift into a cage? Share your reflections in the comments below. This is a space for honest discovery. And if this message resonated, subscribe for more journeys into the heart of a meaningful life. Remember, the goal isn't to be rare. The goal is to be free.